Okay, let's try this again. This is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres, and today's the 12th of February 2018, and I am clearing some snow. We had some pretty good snow yesterday. I had about a foot, and so I was working on it last night, and I came in. Today's Monday morning, so that's what I'm starting my day doing. There's very few clouds in the sky. It's going to be a nice day, and we're expecting some warm weather in the end of the week, and it's like 15 out now. That's pretty nice, no wind. And so I'm plowing. This is what I like to do, and I get a chance to think a little bit, and I get to plan out my day. But then I probably should leave it right there, plan out my day. But then I go from there and I think, you know, what would be a good way to go as a country, as a society? And it used to be, if I had an idea from the inside of my pickup truck, I could go in the house and I'd have to go to the kitchen, make a telephone call to my neighbor and tell him. And that's about as far as it would go. But now I have this little device here that will record me, my image, and if I want to, I can put this message out real time for people to listen to. And you know, I have these ideas, and the First Amendment says that I have the freedom of speech, and I really feel as though this would make sense to do things this way. And I've made videos before about return to rule of law. As you know, our country is a representative republic, and we're governed by a constitution. And it really shouldn't have anything to do with if your your brother-in-law is the building inspector, if you're going to get a permit, or if the town city council decides that they don't want couches out on the front piazza of somebody's house. We are governed by a constitution. The First Amendment says I have the right to free speech. Second Amendment says I have the right to own and bear arms. You know, in a communist country, you do not have the right to free speech. If you say something that goes against the authorities, the elected authorities, or other, you could be held accountable for that in very bad ways. In this country, I can throw stones at the most powerful person in the state of Michigan, and there's nothing legally that they can do to me. You know, I can't slander them, but if I tell the truth about what scumbags they are, there's really nothing they can do. They can pull, backroom deals and stuff like that, and they do that. Make no mistake. They have ways. They have their ways. And like I've said before, it's one of their tools. They like to keep you on guard, and they like to keep you in fear. But those of us that have dealt with terrorism, you have to run right at it, and you cannot be swayed by fear. But anyway, the message that I have today is pretty simple. We're going into an election cycle, 2018, and in the state of Michigan, and all the other states too, you have to pick a governor. And you have to pick somebody based on some criteria. And as I've said before, in this state, people have approached me and they've said, vote for this guy because he loves Jesus. Vote for this guy because he's gonna, make insurance rates lower. Vote for this guy because he's gonna go to a part-time legislature. Well, that's good, but what about everything else? What about everything else? And so, through a chain of events that happened to me, I got to meet a man by the name of Jerry Boykin. And if you don't know who he is, you can Google him real quick. But he's got credentials. He's an Army officer, general officer now, retired. But he was opining at one point at a briefing that I was at, the problems that we're facing as a society. And a man at my table, another military person, retired colonel, flyer type, said, well, sir, what's the answer to this? And he actually interrupted him, which is, you just don't do that, but he did. And I don't think that General Boykin knew where that came from exactly, but it was at my table, and he pointed a finger, and I swear it was more in my direction than anybody else's, and he said, oath of office. So I don't take what general officers say lightly, okay? And you shouldn't. You just shouldn't. These are people that came from middle America families and have risen through the ranks, and it's hopefully because of their expertise and their wisdom. Hopefully. I know it's not always the case, but a lot of times it really is. And so you should listen to what they say. I mean, if you want to live, you listen to what they say. And this guy actually did lose quite a few people in an operation over in Somalia. So he's been blooded, and he's concerned about which way to go. Anyway, I have tried to communicate to anybody that'll listen that the way to winnow these candidates is, will they, can they honor their oath of office? When we elect them, we require, per the Michigan State Constitution, that they take an oath of office. And in that oath of office, they say that they will protect and defend the constitutional rights of the constituency who elect them, right? And then we have guys that as soon as they get in there, they blatantly violate their oath of office. I wonder how long their marriages would last if they didn't honor their marriage vows. I wonder. And a lot of these guys are big like that. You know, they're big time. You know, we are men of our words and Christian guys and all this stuff, but they have very little honor when it comes to their oath of office. So I would say they have no honor at all, you know. But and I even got this one candidate that's saying, well, I may have to violate my oath of office, you know, to get Cheech and Chong off the road. So he's telling me before he's even elected that, yeah, if you elect me, I am going to violate my oath of office for the safety of the children. No, you don't have the authority to violate this contract that we're going to require that you swear an oath to. You do not have that authority, Mr. Governor. So I am going to have a great opportunity here to meet a guy by the name of Jim Hines. He is running for governor. He's not a politician. He's a total outsider in Washington. I mean, in Lansing. And a lot of people are saying that outsiders are bad. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. And I think everybody should look at what we've gotten so far by electing insiders. A swamp. We've got a swamp. And I talked about the swamp, how you drain the swamp and what you're trying to drain out. You're trying to drain out dishonorable individuals. Dishonorable. Anybody who violates their oath of office is dishonorable. If you're in the military and you violate your oath of office, you get a dishonorable discharge, which prevents you from getting good jobs, limits your travel. You can't even date my daughters if you have a dishonorable discharge. So this man, Jim Hines, is running. I have not met him yet, but I have friends that have, and they've told me, hey, you got to give this guy a look. So we set something up to where I get to have a face-to-face with him coming up here pretty quick. I'm not going to tell you the dates or anything like that. There's a lot of reasons why we just don't share information like that. But I am going to get a face-to-face with him, and I have a couple questions for him. And I think I know what the answers are going to be, but I'm still going to face-to-face with him because I want to look into his face, and I want to be able to come to you and say, this is what this guy said to me, and I believe him. All right? Now, if I look into his face and he's telling me, you know, what I want to hear, but I don't believe him, I'm going to tell you. I can't endorse him. That's what I will tell you. But if I look into his face and I believe what he's saying and it's the right things, I will endorse him. And that means something. And we're going to have to form bonds of trust going into the future. We used to have that as a country. It's difficult now. It's very difficult to find people that you can trust. But there are some of us, and I definitely have people that I can trust. Not a whole lot, but we have to build those bonds again of trust. And that distrust has been sown amongst this population on purpose. And that's a little out there, but you will see. There's going to be a lot of things coming in the weeks and months ahead. As last time I said that to you, things have changed. I'm coming up on 10 minutes here. So listen, this is Mark from Baker's Green Acres. If you have questions, put them in the comments box, And I will take a list of questions to this meeting with Dr. Hines, who's running for governor of the state of Michigan. I will take it with me, and I will ask him those questions. And I will write down, and then I will report back to you via this. I need some help too. My YouTube and my internet is shadow banned, and they do that because they don't want your information getting out. There are people on the state level that can pay for that service to sequester what you're saying, because the First Amendment is so important. Do me a favor here, and let's shove it in their faces. Share this video, and that counteracts what they've done, because they can't sequester everybody. So please share this, and I'll be coming back to you after I've met with Dr. Hines. Thanks. It's Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm.